Ladies and gentlemen, the CDC not only dealing with coronavirus, where they had shut down some of their facilities, well, they got a new problem: Legionnaires disease at several of their leased buildings. It was found in the water. So this came out August 8th, 2020, CBS News. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says it has closed several buildings it leases in Atlanta because of Legionella bacteria that was found in the water system. Bacteria that likely grew because of the prolonged pandemic shutdown. It's a problem that people across the country need to be on the lookout for, the CDC says. The bacteria, which can cause deadly pneumonia, grow in warm or stagnant water. The plumbing in buildings have been closed for months because of the coronavirus pandemic, could provide a perfect breeding ground for Legionella and other waterborne pathogens, the CDC cautions. It even happened to the CDC itself. During the recent closures of our lease space in Atlanta, working through the General Services Administration, CDC directed the landlord to take protective actions, the CDC said in a statement to CNN. Despite their best efforts, CDC has been notified that Legionella, which can cause Legionnaires disease, is present in a cooling tower, as well as in some water sources in the buildings. Out of the abundance of caution, we have closed these buildings until successful remediation is completed. Legionella bacteria is common in water everywhere. They're usually only a problem when the water gets, the water is not really going anywhere because people aren't there. So people are not using the water, it's just sitting around. Okay, so they are only a problem when the water gets aerosolized and people breathe it in. Showers and fountains are common sources. The name dates back to 1976 when an outbreak, I remember this, it was in the city of Philadelphia. I remember, that's where I was born. When an outbreak among people at the American Legion Convention in Philadelphia affected 182 people and killed 29 of them. People most at risk include the elderly, smokers, people with suppressed immune systems, and diabetic. Last year, the CDC reported 4,294 cases. So far this year, 1,813 cases have been reported. And they're talking about Legionnaires' disease. It is not yet clear if the pandemic has worsened the problem or perhaps eased it because people are not gathering at large hotels or working in big factory buildings as much, said Chris Edens, an epidemiologist on the CDC Legionella team. He said the state health departments that normally monitor and report cases of Legionella infections are tied up dealing with coronavirus, and no national entity systematically checks buildings to see if the bacteria has started growing in the plumbing. There is currently no nationwide surveillance of water systems for Legionella disease, Eden said. As people return to work and start to travel more, hospitals and clinics need to think about the possibility of Legionella. Eden said, flu and coronavirus are not the only things that can cause severe pneumonia, he said. If people turn up with pneumonia, it's worth testing them for Legionella, especially since it can be treated with antibiotics, unlike the flu or coronavirus. Many different buildings could be at risk, and building managers need to be aware during prolonged closures. We are taking So what they're talking about is they need to, check out the hotels that have been closed for a while, large, office space buildings, and any type of factories, especially if they've been shut down. They need to be testing the water for this bacteria. The water has been sitting and could be at risk of Legionella growth. Poorly maintained cooling towers are another potential source. The fix is not difficult. You want to keep the water cold and as cold as possible, and you want to keep your hot water as hot as possible, Eden said. Legionella flourishes in temperatures between 80 and 120 Fahrenheit. It's killed by, okay, so chlorine is a way of killing it, or disinfecting routines. But the bacteria can grow into mats that create hard to dislodge sludge inside pipes, Eden said. Wow. One of the things that we typically recommend in buildings that have been disused is flushing, he said. That can be as simple as turning on a faucet. Let cold water or hot water course through the system. Keep that water moving. Legionella is not the only risk, by the way. There are lots of other waterborne pathogens, Eden said. There are certainly other bugs out there. The CDC warns about them on its website. These can include other micro hazard and non-tuberculosis. Oh, okay. Changes in water chemistry that lead to corrosion, leaching of metals such as lead into stagnant water, disinfection, byproducts, and sewer gases that enter buildings through dry sanitary sewer drain traps, it says. Wow. Boy, I tell you, you don't think about all the things that can happen when a building is not being actively used. You don't think about these kind of things, but y'all tell me what you think. The Center for Disease Control got Legionella in the water. Legionnaires disease. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.